not normal, but that's the way of Bayern Munich.
Is this all nonsense, Christian, or should we be taking this seriously?
It's not a good news for Liverpool fans. Sorry for that.
I don't want to concern Bayern fans, but it did worry me a little seeing this update about Kane.
The signs are that the journey will be in the direction of Liverpool, but there's still hope.
Servus, hello, this is Farrell Keeling bringing you Bayern Insider with Christian Falk, the English language news publisher and podcast for Bayern fans worldwide. You're joined as ever by the head of football at Bild and Sport Bild, Christian Falk.
Yes, hello from Munich and from the top of the Champions League table.
Indeed. Looking rather enviously, I must say, from a Liverpool perspective. But we're talking about Bayern today, Christian. And coming up on today's show, we've got plenty of juicy topics, including are Bayern going to sign any players in January? Could Harry Kane move to Barcelona? Is it all over for FC Bayern and Marc Guehi? And so much more. But let's talk footballing matters first, Christian, of course, because it's been a seemingly quite long international break, I have to say. I'm itching for the action to get back underway. But in terms of where we left things with Bayern before the break, Christian, the incredible winning streak, of course, sadly came to an end. 16 games in a row to start the season just before the international break. But it was Harry Kane's stoppage time equaliser against Union Berlin that ensured Bayern at least remained unbeaten going into the break. But the result, a 2-2 draw, I mean, is it a worry for Bayern at all, or just merely a sign, would you say, of the toll on the players after what was such an intense 2-1 victory over Paris Saint-Germain in Paris?
Yes, as you say, they're still unbeaten. That was important for the team. As you saw, they fight it till the end, but they knew that you can't win every game in the season, and Union Berlin is a fighting team. It was very hard for Bayern Munich, and you know, the more important game was the match against Paris to show also after the World Cup of the teams in June and last season to show Bayern Munich can win against the top teams in Europe. So they were a little bit tired at the end.
Absolutely. I think on a plus side, you can say that regardless of what happens in the January window, this is a Bayern squad that is still going to be strengthened, admittedly with its own options, of course, with Alphonso Davies and, of course, later on, Jamal Musiala returning to the squad. And that's quite a welcome boost for Bayern.
Yes, and that's the plan. The squad is small. Everybody knew it before the season, but you have Musiala coming back. You have Davis coming back. You have also Ito, which is a player you need in the squad. Such players are very important. And that's why I heard there is a decision in the club. They won't buy any player in the winter. Not so interesting for Bayern Munich fans. And I think also in the Premier League, it's not normal. But that's the way of Bayern Munich. They don't want to spend so much money. And there's another decision. They are now thinking about selling Sacha Boey. That's the plan. If there is a club who pay a price which is okay for Bayern Munich. Remember, they paid 30 million euros with ads on 35 million euros. So they won't get this money back, but they try to sell him now because he played, and that's always good for the market. But now Stanisic is back. Lima is doing very, very well. So Davis is coming back. Also, he won't play so much in the next season and also in the round after the winter. And now they can get some money. And he was already offered to Juventus Turin. Juventus Turin was interested in summer. And now Bayern Munich will check the market if the market has an offer for Sacha Boey.
Speaking of offloading Bayern players, it obviously looks like the summer window is going to be one that Maxi Bell and Christoph Freund are going to be specifically preparing for. Of course, Christian, one Bayern star the fans won't want to see the club have to replace in the process is that of centre-back Dayot Upamecano. And there is still a lot of speculation about what the future holds for the Frenchman, given that his contract still expires next summer. There's been some to and froing over his potential signing fee. I mean, are his admirers in Europe still confident, would you say, that they're in the running for Upamecano? And who, Christian, is still firmly on the list for his signature.
Yes, it's not a good news for Liverpool fans. Sorry for that. We have heard that there are just 3 clubs in his mind for the future. First of all, Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich is a little bit confident that they will make it, that he's signing a new contract. But if there is no agreement, as for Upamecano, there are 2 clubs interesting, and this is no Premier League club on their list. It's Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain. Both clubs are interested in him because he's a free agent, especially Real Madrid needs some defenders. Tony Rüdiger, I heard there will be talks in the January if he will get a new contract. There's also David Alaba, who will be a free agent in summer. But also Paris is very interested in him. They want to build a team like, kind of FC France. And Upamecano, he's a French player. He would perfectly fit in this thing, and they can pay him. But I have heard also that he's really a fan of Kompany, and he loves to work with him. So this is the big joker for Bayern Munich in this poker game. It's still open, but still 3 clubs in the position to sign him, and no English one.
A lot of interest in French centre-halves ahead of the upcoming windows, Christian. And whilst we're speaking of talented French centre-halves, Upamecano's international teammate at Liverpool, Ibrahima Konate, also faces an uncertain future at his club. But is it true, Christian, that the player is now determined to have his future wrapped up in the near future?
This is true. Yes, he has to decide now. Konate knows that Liverpool would like to sell him if he doesn't sign a new contract, so he have to decide now. Bayern Munich said him that they're interested, and it could be hard for Bayern Munich if Konate decides for a new contract at Liverpool, because they would lose another option in Marc Guehi, which is very close at the moment to Liverpool signing. He was already there in the summer, and Bayern Munich is searching for alternatives if Upamecano doesn't sign a new contract. But it's not just this position. They know also that there's an option to sell Min-Jae Kim. So anyway, they would love to have Konate or Marc Guehi, but they know it's a really, really hard market because both are free agents in the summer. But Bayern Munich told them already they're interested.
You touched on Marc Guehi, and I think it's important that we do go into that into a little bit more depth, because it seems all these defenders, their futures are intrinsically linked. There will be a domino effect, as you've previously discussed, Christian, heading into the summer window with so many top centre-halves on expiring contracts. It seems a bit mental. There have been some recent reports, interestingly, that Real Madrid have more or less accepted defeat in the race for Marc Guehi, have accepted the player is pretty much a wrapped-up deal for Liverpool Football Club. But I wonder, from the Bayern perspective, have FC Bayern also accepted defeat in the same manner, or do they believe that they still have a pretty strong chance of signing the England international?
It's true. Also, Bayern Munich knows that Liverpool is running the race. Yes, there was an agreement in the summer. Marc Guehi would like to play for Liverpool. They tried it to get him, on the market. There are many agents. In his agency, there's one agent who is working for the German market. And of course, Bayern Munich had a contact, but the signs are that the journey will be in the direction of Liverpool, but there's still hope. There's a chance, but they know it's getting hard.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, let's move away from the centre-backs, shall we, Christian? Because it's been a very centre-back-centric chat we've had so far, but we're going to move a little bit further up the pitch. And we're going to start with one man who keeps defying his critics, and that is, of course, Leon Goretzka. Because whilst he's not perhaps been a central figure in Bayern Munich's Champions League campaign, he's had plenty of minutes in the Bundesliga. So, Christian, can we take that as a fair indication that FC Bayern won't be prepared to let the German midfielder leave in the January window?
So it's not true that they want to sell him, and it's true that he want to stay. Leon Goretzka sees a chance to stay at Bayern Munich. He would love to stay at Bayern Munich, but as you know, he's one of the top earner. His salary is about 18 million gross. And now the decision will be made not this year. Bayern Munich has the decision made that they want to talk to him and his agents next year, and then they will see, is he willing to earn less than before? Then there's a chance for Leon Goretzka to stay. I know that there were many clubs who knocked at the door. There were rumors about Juventus Turin is interesting for winter. Fenerbahce should be interested to get him also in winter. I heard also Galatasaray had a little hope to get him, but no chance Goretzka want to stay. And we will see what Bayern Munich will offer at the beginning of the next year, and if they will find agreement, because there are many names around who could substitute, will be a successor of Goretzka, and Bayern Munich is testing the market, younger players, cheaper players in the salary, and that's why at first there are talks with Goretzka, but it could be that he will leave in summer, but not in winter.
Well, I'm not sure if this name coming up is a direct replacement potentially for Goretzka, but it's an interesting one nonetheless, because it seems to be the case, Christian, that Bayern are very much sort of pivoting towards the future, and that means giving opportunities to exciting academy talents like Lennart Karl, but it also means casting an eye towards the market's young gems. And one name that's popped up of late is 17-year-old defensive midfielder Nathan de Cat from Belgium's top flight. Is it true that Bayern are interested? And what can you tell us about the player?
Yes, this is true. They are interested in him. They have him on the list. There were also some talks with his agency. But as you know, the decision will be made after the decision about Leon Goretzka. He can be a successor, but they have already Tom Bischoff, who is doing very well on these positions in the midfield. So it's not decided yet if they go for him. If Leon Goretzka is leaving, they will discuss again. There are other names on the list when we talk about talents. There's also Reed from Feyenoord also in the discussions. So Bayern Munich has also a few talents in France on the list. But it's true, Nathan de Cat is on the list, but also Borussia Dortmund is interested in him. And I heard also some clubs in the Premier League. So it's getting interesting. It's also not only the decision of Bayern Munich, also the decision of the player. He has many options.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Bayern is certainly a very intriguing option for any footballer right now, especially as you say, with them top of the Champions League table and looking a serious contender for Europe's biggest crown. I mean, if we can deviate from the future for just a moment, Christian, we have to, of course, respect the experience in the squad. We talk about players like Goretzka, but players don't come with much more experience than Harry Kane. I don't want to concern Bayern fans, but it did worry me a little seeing this update about Kane, which suggested that Barcelona are reportedly interested in signing him on the proviso, of course, that Robert Lewandowski doesn't sign a new contract. Is this all nonsense, Christian, or should we be taking this seriously?
Let's take it indeed seriously. There is, of course, an interest because, yes, Robert Lewandowski will leave the club in summer. As I heard, it's getting hard for him to get a new contract. There's interest of him going to the MLS, to United States, playing for a club. That was always a plan of him and his family. Kane, yes. Of course, you are interested in Harry Kane if you need a striker, but at the end, the release clause we talk about is 65 million euros, and we know about Barcelona. And do they have money? No, they don't. Can they pay the salary of Kane, which is about 25 million gross? Hardly, if they don't have to pay the salary for Lewandowski, perhaps. But I think, we are now in a transfer window that, yes, Harry Kane has to trigger the clause till the end of January. So I think it's a part of a little bit poker game. Barcelona is interested. Of course, you listen to such options because you have to talk with Bayern Munich also about the future, perhaps about a new contract. Bayern Munich want to make a decision about that, but after the release clause could be triggered. So it's a better position for Bayern Munich if he has no release clause yet for 1 year more. So I think it's a little bit poker at the moment. I can't take it seriously because I heard from some experts around the club, they can't afford him.
Absolutely. And more to the point, he seems very happy in Munich. And, you never know. Certainly with the Premier League lurking, could that prove more appealing than a move to La Liga? Who knows? We'll have to keep track of this story. But in the meantime, Christian, I'm going to bring us back to the future, but also the now, because Lennart Karl has had a really exciting breakthrough campaign in Munich. 2 goal contributions in the Bundesliga this season and a goal in the Champions League against Club Bruges. You could forgive Bayern fans, I think, for wanting the club to be quick about tying the teenager down on a long-term contract. But is it true or not true, Christian, that the club is now negotiating a new contract for the German with his agent, Michael Ballack?
So it's not true that they really are negotiations, but the good news for Bayern Munich fans is he has a contract signed in August till 2028, and a lot of clauses are in this contract. And he's playing, he will earn more money, and he's getting 18 in February. So we have heard that when this happens, the contract has also a clause that the contract is longer. So it will happen without negotiating. But of course, there are thoughts in the club. If he's doing so well at the moment, perhaps he gets some ads on as well, which are not in the contract. This is in discussion, but not really negotiations yet. Uli Hoeneß talked today about Lennart Karl, and he said they're very, very happy about this player, that he's doing so well. But the hype is enormous, and everybody should calm a little bit down. He played a little bit now in Bundesliga and Champions League, and everybody wants him for national team. But if you see him in the under 21, he did it very well again and scored twice. So you see his way is going directly towards there, where you get some big contracts at Bayern Munich.
A big future ahead, hopefully. And if reports are to be believed, Christian, it seems Bayern aren't satisfied with just the one wonder kid up top. We've seen claims that the Bundesliga champions are also among the many elite European outfits that are interested in Vasco da Gama's striker, Rayan Vitor. Is this true, Christian?
This is true. That's one of the new ways Bayern Munich is now scouting more talents in South America. And you see, they have the big question, what happens on the striker position? They want to keep Harry Kane, but they don't think they will trigger the clause of Nicolas Jackson that more than 65 minutes is too much. If he's doing very well, of course, there can be talks with Chelsea if they get him for a lower price, but there are eyes on the market, who can be cheaper, who can be a talent, who can be educated behind Harry Kane, and therefore Ryan is an option. Yes, we heard the scouts were there, they had a look at him, and but Bayern Munich has a long list, and we are talking again about Dusan Vlahovic. I'm very happy it was our exclusive breaking news that Bayern was interested in him. Now Fabrizio Romano said in a podcast that there were 2 contacts again in October. So you see, it's not really hot at the moment, but he's still on the list, and Bayern Munich has an eye on him.
So there you have it. A lot of interest in the now for Bayern Munich. A lot of interest in the future for Bayern Munich. And that's about as good a place as any to wrap up this week's podcast. If you're catching this on YouTube, of course, be sure to drop us a like, a subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you are the first to know what's true or not true. This has been the Bayern Insider Podcast with the inimitable Christian Falk. And I've been your host, Farrell Keeling. Take care. And danke fürs Zuschauen.
Auf Wiedersehen.